It's funny how Liverpool's academy is doing more transfer business than the senior squad, right? Well, that might be because it's becoming one of the most attractive places for young and talented players to hone their skills. And you know what? It's only going to get more successful. The Merseyside club has always had a reputation for producing some of the best talents in the world of football, even over 20 years ago, with Steven Gerrard, Jamie Carragher, and Robbie Fowler springing to mind. However, now it seems there is more emphasis on bringing through players from the academy rather than finding a solution in the transfer market. Sure, it might not be an instant solution, but developing these players for the future can save hundreds of millions of pounds. See, our club's academy is doing something truly special, and Rio Nimawa's latest transfer proves that. The Blues have accused the 16-year-old of all different things, but in reality the reason behind his decision is pretty clear. So why have the likes of this Chelsea gem chosen to join our academy instead of staying with their clubs? Well, if you're wondering what exactly is happening, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button as we explore what makes it a fantastic place for young footballers. If you didn't already know about the promising path to first team football that the Anfield Club Academy offers, you probably discovered it during last season's League Cup final against Chelsea. See, we all remember how the senior squad was plagued with injuries of all kinds during the second half of the last campaign. And for the cup final, multiple academy prospects and graduates were named on the bench, with others even starting. Not only that, but other youngsters like Bobby Clark, Jayden Danns and James McConnell all made their way onto the pitch to take part in extra time, a sign of huge faith from Jurgen klopp. So many youth prospects made their way onto the pitch that the media referred to the squad on the day as Klopp's kids. We've covered this topic before, how Liverpool's academy is becoming the ultimate football factory. Check it out on the channel, it's a video you do not want to miss. Many would think that with Klopp's departure, the academy will no longer offer the same pathway to the first team. However, this precaution is wrong. While it's true that the academy at all ages played similarly to the German style to ensure a more seamless transition, Arne Slot's appointment was also made with the academy in mind. Sure, Arne Slot is not a Jurgen Klopp clone, but the two do share a similar set of footballing ideas. Both are front-footed, both want to squeeze the opposition and allow them limited time on the ball, and both love providing young players with a chance to thrive. That is why Slot's arrival ensures that not much change will be needed throughout the academy's playstyle. As we mentioned earlier, the Reds have a history of giving their youth opportunities. Players like Jarell Quansah, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Curtis Jones have been at the club since they were aged 5, 6 and 9 years old respectively, and now are key members of the first team squad. Others such as Kelleher and Connor Bradley were brought in, but have been a part of the professional youth setup before moving to Liverpool. Harvey Elliott, who was brought in from Fulham, wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for the development path provided in our academy and the club's faith and support in him after the horrific injury he had. And maybe that's why Liverpool has started to hunt young talents recently. There have been more hits than misses when it comes to bringing youngsters from the other clubs and abroad to develop. See, the ambition the Reds have shown in the youth market in recent years is truly quite special. Over the last couple of seasons, Liverpool has been bringing in more prospects who have grown up in other professional academies. There is an obvious pathway to first team football for those who have the talent and put in hard work, as shown by the players mentioned earlier. It is likely a big reason why so many young and talented players are eager to move to Merseyside. Let's take a look at some names. For example, take talents such as Trey Nyoni, who was brought in from Leicester City for £800,000. The 17-year-old is very well regarded amongst the club's youth coaches. Both his club and Klopp showed faith in the young winger as he made his debut in the FA Cup tie against Southampton back in February, becoming Liverpool's youngest FA Cup player at just 16 years old and 243 days. However, Nyoni isn't the only academy prospect who holds a record to his name. Katie Gordon, another young winger that the Reds brought in from a separate academy, scored his first goals against Shrewsbury in his second match for the club during the third round of the FA Cup, becoming Liverpool's second youngest goal scorer in all competitions and their youngest ever scorer in the FA Cup. Gordon was brought to Merseyside from Derby County's youth team for a fee of £1 million, which could rise to £3 million of add-ons. And we're not stopping there. There's also Nallo, who is another prospect that the Anfield Academy coaches hold in high regard. Nallo was brought in from West Ham setup, however the fee the club paid for him is unknown. All three of these players are currently out in the United States, playing pre-season under Arne Slot, and, like Klopp, he has given them a chance to shine. The strategy of snatching youth talents from other clubs is not new, however Liverpool has a history of successfully integrating them into their squad's core setup. We mentioned Harvey Elliott earlier. The Englishman was subjected to a record fee for a 16-year-old after he was convinced to swap Craven Cottage for Anfield. Liverpool paid an initial £1.5 million for Elliott, but there was another £2.8 million included if certain conditions were met. The now 21-year-old's decision was certainly risky, but it has paid off. After a couple of years in the academy, as well as a loan to Blackburn Rovers, he has now appeared around 119 times for Liverpool, scoring 10 goals and assisting 14. Over the last 3 seasons, he has been an important member of Jurgen Klopp's side and will likely be just as important for Arne Slot. The story of Elliott's integration after coming from another academy is a prime example of how Liverpool are using the youth market as an effective and affordable strategy. And by the way, how can we forget about Stefan Bajcetic, who is another promising youth player who did not grow up in the academy ranks of Liverpool. The Spaniard was snapped up from Celta Vigo in 2020 for only £225,000. If reports in England are to be believed, the 19-year-old is set to have the chance to stake his claim as the club's number 6 for years to come this season. Now, we're not saying that every young player brought to the academy has proved to be a success. There's Ryan Brewster, who comes to mind, but even in his case, he was given a chance to shine at the highest level. Brewster moved from Chelsea to Liverpool, he was excellent in the youth teams and regarded in high esteem by Klopp, who handed him his debut in 2019 in an EFL Cup match against MK Dons. Later, Brewster moved to Sheffield United for a staggering £23.5 million. Whilst his time at the Blades has been far from a success, scoring just 5 goals in 77 games, you can't deny that he was given countless opportunities at the highest level. See, Liverpool's very public pathway into the world of professional football makes it one of the most attractive places for youth players to sharpen their skills and earn concrete opportunities to prove themselves. And so there is no reason to be surprised when you see the brightest talents in the Premier League leave their current club and join our academy. Speaking of bright talents, just like Brewster, Liverpool managed to convince another Chelsea gem to swap Cobham for Liverpool's AXA Academy. A move that many Chelsea supporters were not happy with, accusing the player of seeking more money instead of continuing his development in London. The player is none other than 16-year-old Rio Nugama. See, Nugama is regarded as one of the best prospects to come through the Blues' infamous talent factory. Not only that, but according to journalists close to the clubs, Liverpool believe they have secured one of the top talents in English football, while Chelsea are furious that they have lost one of their better prospects to a rival club. But can you really blame the player? He had a choice to pick between a clear pathway to football's biggest stage or stay at a club that is pumping millions to recruit other players from all over the world while neglecting their own homegrown talents. And the biggest example of this might be Trevor Chalobah, who's been omitted from Chelsea's pre-season tour squad. While rivals might suggest the player opted to choose money, it's clear that he wanted to join a place that could provide him with the right environment to develop and reach the top level. Supporters are always calling for their team to make new signings, and that is completely understandable. However, Liverpool is making notable strides in the youth market, which future-proofs our club for upcoming seasons. If Slot can transform Bajcetic into a formidable defensive midfielder, then the club will save themselves the £100 million that elite DMs are asking for in the current market. The same can be said for the academy prospects that have nurtured since a young age, with the likes of Jarell Quansah potentially being a key central defender for the club in the upcoming season. The likes of Rio Nugama will have seen these examples, knowing there is a promising path to the first team at one of the football's most historic clubs. So how do you see this strategy working out for Liverpool during the Arne Slot era? Is it a smart way to save money, or will it make it harder for the new manager to compete for those big trophies? Let us know in the comment section below, and make sure you do subscribe to the channel for more Liverpool deep dives. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.